of your morning's top stories. Oh, great. Deep fried turkey. That's what we're talking about next, Dr. Art. It is, unfortunately, as Dr. Art would say, becoming a more popular way for cooking Thanksgiving. But look at what can happen.
Oh,
some important warnings from our friends at the Mesa Fire Department before you drop that bird into hot oil.
Absolutely.
Stay with us. For people adding some sizzle to Thanksgiving with a fried turkey. But before you deep fry that bird, you want to watch the segments. We are heeding the warnings this morning from our friends at the Mesa Fire Department. We have Captain Forrest Smith joining us and also Mark Enriquez. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
A serious topic because every year you guys get the calls of a fried turkey gone bad.
We sure do, and that's one of the things that we just want to advise the public. Technically, we do not, as a fire department, and most departments in the country, will not technically endorse these type of devices. But we know people are going to use them, so what we want to do is put the word out there and give people tips on how to safely use these devices. And as you can see, there's really no control on what's happening there, except to be able to give these tips on what not to do, and just to advise the public that there are certainly dangers that could be associated with these.
And we actually wanted to do a live demonstration here, but then after realizing what this entails, we'd have to have the whole fire department out here to control that fire as you guys were doing in these demonstrations.
That's right.
All right, let's talk about some of the things that we need to start with to keep in mind.
Some of the things to keep in mind, Tess, excuse me, is first and foremost is you want to make sure that your equipment is clean and in good working order. You want to make sure the propane tanks have been tested as they are by their manufacturer specification. They're free of grease and just a real clean environment. What's really important also is you want to thoroughly thaw out your turkey. You want to give it at least 24 hours per 5 pounds of turkey to thoroughly thaw it out. Because once you add moisture to the boiling oil, it's going to create that flash, the overspill and the sparkle and everything, and is real hazardous. So again, thaw that turkey out properly. And also have a thermometer available when you're cooking your turkeys. People tend to let the fire or the heat get away from them, which will raise the oil to its ignition temperature. So a thermometer is very important. 350 degrees is what you want to maintain the oil at to thoroughly cook the turkey, and you want to cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes per pound.
Okay, so it's not going to take that long to cook, obviously, much quicker than an oven, but the dangers are there.
Yeah, the dangers
don't follow the rules.
And also, exactly, and the rules are also very important, is the fill line of your
how do you know? Because that, as we were looking in the video, I mean, was that a case of too much oil when you dropped that turkey in there?
Well, it could be a couple of things. It could be a frozen turkey, and it could also be too much oil, which are the most common causes of fires. A lot of these pots have a fill line. They tell you where the fill line is at on them. But a quick way to do it is that you would take your unopened turkey, put it in the pot that you're cooking, fill it with water about 1 to 2 inches above the turkey, and then that should tell you about where your fill line should be, about 1 to 2 inches above the turkey. Dump out the water, thoroughly dry it out, go through the procedures, thaw out your turkey, and you should have a safe Thanksgiving from there.
Okay. And then I know, Captain Smith, when you guys were doing the demonstrations, you have to be prepared, and most people aren't. But one way to start is obviously even having a fire extinguisher handy. You should have these things set in place.
Absolutely. One thing is just to have these year-round in your kitchen to have available. These are all-purpose extinguishers that you can use on grease fires, electrical fires, whatnot. But especially if you're using something like this, to have this ready to go. Again, we don't want anybody to use these in their garages as well, or on any wood deck tops. Have it out in an area where you don't have anything that can burn, as well as not having children have access to it, as well as pets. But having something like this nearby first gives you that first line of defense, and of course, call early. Call 911 early and make sure you get somebody coming out that way.
And when we take a look at this, this is what the normal standard turkey fryer looks like. These aren't real stable. I mean, they're 3-peg steel legs.
That's right, not stable at all. Matter of fact, we bought this in on purpose because after one Thanksgiving, you can have this type of grease spillover. A lot of times, unless you're inspecting these things, they'll have a little grease, a little overspill.
I was just going to say, I just got it all over.
Yeah, it's a little dirty, and so that was one of the things is that when you have these devices, there's an Underwriters Laboratory which does safety compliance, and they'll make sure a device is safe for the public to use. Well, that company didn't endorse these because of the fact that there's just so many things that can go wrong with them. So again, we're not endorsing them, but at the same time, we're not telling people not to buy them. But again, we know people are using them. But as you said, there's just so many things here that can go wrong. They're not stable. They can fall over. Again, with having children come by them or pets, they can knock them over easily. The fact that you have that grease, again, going up to about 350 degrees or higher, after you're cooking, we talk about getting it warmed up. Okay, it's hot then. during making that turkey it's hot. Well, then there's that part after that where you have about a couple of hours where you have hot grease still in there. So by that point, everybody's enjoying their turkey and whatnot, and you can still have family members or pets get too close to that hot grease.
And you guys are doing the demonstrations out in an open field where it's safe. A lot of people doing it in their backyards.
That's right.
And it can be near their house, it can be under a patio, and those are just big no-nos.
Exactly. That's a tremendous no-no, especially apartment complexes. We have people that try to cook in their patios in their apartments, and they end up with a fire on their patio. Next thing you know, dozens of families are displaced, you know, just by not following basic cooking safety. Again, do it on a stable environment, as you stated, away from any overhangs, away from any debris. Have a fire extinguisher nearby. Do not attempt to put these fires out with water. Okay. Again, the same rules apply. It's a grease fire. You're just going to spread the fire.
And
call
it's
911.
Important to say because most of us will have our hoses nearby if it's by there. And if
false
something comes
sense of security.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right. And just one thing to add, cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires. And so with Thanksgiving coming in here, that's where we see that increase in calls, especially between noon and 4 p.m. With all the distractions and such. We just want to remind everybody, remember that if you have cooking going on, just to make sure you stay focused on that and still watch your kids around these things.
Well, let's hope you guys are not busy on Thursday and you guys are staying inside and not having to run to anything. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For those tips, we sure appreciate it, and happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Thank you very much. You too.
All right, coming up next.